Hey guys, so this is another one in my series of being a secure creditor. I'm doing a series on two things that what a lot of people don't realize is, successful people and all these influencers such as Gary Vee. Gary Vee you might know, and some of these top people might know, but Tai Lopez and etc. All these millionaires on YouTube, etc. Now, okay, yes, they're rich, they're successful. What I'm doing a series on two things that can help out, so that to make sure that everything that they've earned and worked hard for isn't just taken from them more or less in an instant. Now, I do one series on self-defense, and because you don't want people, all these people like Tai Lopez, anybody who works hard. Since I'm online, I say, anybody's online who sees this and comes on YouTube a lot or whatever, which is pretty much everyone these days. I don't think a lot of people, a lot of successful people, they've got their houses and their cars and they've worked hard. One thing they never seem to put much thought into or prepare for or plan for is just, one day they might get mugged, or a burglar might, something might happen so that everything I worked hard for can be taken away in pretty much an instant. Now, another series I do is on secure creditor, because I think most people out there, such as, these so-called influencers like Gary Vee and etc., or anybody really who's, successful, and even if you're on YouTube and you're like me, you're pretty much just starting off. Anybody out there who is working hard, that you don't want to it all to come to a crashing halt one day because either one, you get into a scuffle, and you didn't know any self-defense, or somebody burglarizes your house and steals all your stuff, or steals your car, or what like that. That's why I do these self-defense videos and courses. All the links for these will be below this, as well as my other series I'm doing currently. It is secure creditor. Now, what a secure creditor is, and not many people are aware of this, is that basically the government, the IRD, the social welfare people can pretty much take away anything you've got at any moment. Now, you say, oh no, they can't do that. I'll give you for instance. If a motorway is going through your house, you can't do one thing about it. Another instance, you get into court. In most cases, people lose in court, especially if it's big and a big thing, and if it's not a big thing. But you can lose your house through a mortgagee sale. You can even lose your kids because the the child welfare people think that you're mistreating your kids, maybe because you are not giving them vaccines, or you're homeschooling them, or you're doing something that they particularly don't like. It doesn't have to be a biggie, but the vaccines is a good one, because a lot of people are not vaccinating their kids these days, and excuse me, and they have the right to. Their kids, their children, and it's becoming compulsory in a lot of countries. Now, if you're a secure creditor, and you basically put a lien on your birth certificate, you put a lien on everything you own, they can't. There's two things about being a secure creditor. Immediately you will have no debts, because to get a mortgage, to get any loans, student loans, any loan, credit card loans, you create the money with your signature. You create what's called a promissory note. So have a look into this. You create a promissory note, you create the money, you've created the money. Like, for instance, you go get a mortgage, you create the mortgage with your signature. It's now a promissory note. They give you your money back, and you have to pay them back with interest. But you actually owe them nothing, because they gave you nothing. They only gave you your money back. Now, for all to understand all this, I suggest you start off with doing Joanna Wells courses. Okay, I suggest you start off with this one here, Ambassador Secure Creditor Entry Level Course, and look at this, it's $47, guys. She's got a whole bunch of courses. Digital Business Nomad, Ambassador's e-course. Now, some people are put off by this. She's into people getting the wrong picture online. They're saying that all this Egyptian stuff and this pyramid stuff, it's all evil. No, it's not. It's that the so-called Illuminati, the cabal, the elite, they use these symbols for their own good. But in and of themselves, these symbols are not bad. That's a whole nother video. Okay, but anyway, back to this. Secure Creditor Entry Level, $47. Start with that. I'll leave links to all her courses below. As far as I'm concerned, Joanna and her crew are the best team out there. I think they're probably on the planet at the moment. They've got the big picture. They've got their mentors. Joanna is not hassled by the police, or she's not in jail. A lot of people who have done this and that's so the proof is in the eating of the pudding, or whatever the saying is, and that Joanna's happily teaching all this. She's not been hassled by any authorities. Why? Because she's doing it in the correct manner. She's not doing it in a defensive, argumentative way. She's doing it in a non-belligerent way, and she's using the process that is there for everybody, but no one knows about it. Okay, now you might say, well, why do we even need to learn this? We should just know it outright. And to a certain point, I can understand where you're coming from. For the time being, though, I think it will change eventually. We're at the moment, we're still using money, and we have to use what we've got. Apparently, the whole system was set up where you can have access to basically your trust. I probably didn't go over that, but you'll learn that in this course here. $47. What's that? That's a couple of cups of coffee and a meal, maybe. 1 cup of coffee and a meal. You'll learn you'll learn here the sort of that your birth certificate is actually turned you into a corporation, and turned your name, your surname, your birth certificate name, you became what's called a fiction, basically. So what you have to do, and you'll learn all about that, the history of that, how the birth certificate was really a death certificate, really. I'll quickly give you the rundown there, and why at birth you died, on paper you died, without leaving a will, so a trust was set up, in case, a trust was set up, and you, because you died, without a will. Now, you can claim that trust back, so how you claim that trust back is by putting a lien on your birth certificate. Put your birth certificate on the UCC1, the Uniform Commercial Code, and in New Zealand, Australia, you put your birth certificate and everything you own, basically, on what's called the Personal Property Securities Register, including your birth certificate, everything, your car registration, etc. Now, I'm flying over this. You're probably thinking, what the hell is he babbling on about? What you need to know is all in this course here. You need to claim back your birth certificate. You need to, tell the commercial world that you are alive, you're not dead. And you claim back your trust. How you claim it back is you like I say, you put the lien on the UCC1, you register on the UCC1, and that's how you tell everybody in the commercial world that you're dealing with that you are now a secure creditor, which basically means you have no debts, because originally all debts are paid, and that's all explained in here. All debts are paid because I think it was 1933 in America. What's it called? I forget. There was a regulation put forward in 1933, I think it was, whereby the government said, and it was pretty much worldwide, the government said, give us all your gold, and everything will be prepaid, and but in exchange for all the gold. That's the long and short of it. Now, a lot of people say that Joanna is a scam. What I have to say to that is, let's have a look at some. She's got 1,000,001 testimonials. There's one there. Proof, child support gone, so she wiped out child support. Now, the other thing is, people, I've sort of covered this, but people will say, well, you loan money, you have to pay it back. No, you don't, because you don't loan money. They don't give you anything. Everything is paid. You have already paid for it. You create the money with the, you sign your signatures of worth. Your signatures is basically signifies you, a living being, and well, your signature pays for everything, because, well, to them, that signature is the only thing worth anything, because you're the one that you're the only thing that can create labor, create everything in this world, man-made, materialism in this world. Your signature represents, labor, basically. Now, I'm sorry that I'm sort of humming and hawing and maybe not explaining this and going all over the place. You can study this for, that's the thing. A lot of people say this is a scam because they recognize that it does require a lot of research and a lot of work. It's not an overnight thing. If you want to shortcut all that, this is why I say go and do a course like that with Joanna. I'll put all the links below. There's a lot to this, but once you're a secure creditor, you actually own everything. You own your children, you own your house. If you're not a secure creditor, you do not, whatever you think, you do not own your car, you do not own your house, you do not own your children. Because you died without a will, it's all in a trust, and so whoever's looking after the trust actually owns all that.